Good morning. It is February the 10th, 2017. I'm Sam.
And I'm Kevin Euro.
And this is your Ben Pixels weekly upload. We're covering stories today from Facebook, from the NBA, and from YouTube. Also, Twitch. So if you like to get weekly updates and discussions about the latest in digital video and what's going on, please like this page, share this video, and tell all your friends how much fun we are to be with on your mornings. Kevin, we're going to lead off first with kind of an important story for YouTube.
Yeah.
This is sourced from the YouTube creator blog that mobile live streaming and the super chat is now being launched. YouTube has essentially launched the world's first 360-degree live streaming support with full 4K video at scale and for free.
Yeah.
Mobile live streaming has been built directly into the YouTube mobile app. And the new feature is live to every creator with more than 10,000 subscribers. YouTube also fully rolled out something that they're calling Super Chats, which is a new live stream monetization tool letting fans purchase chat messages that are highlighted and pinned to the top of the chat window for up to 5 hours. So that again is from the official YouTube creator blog. YouTube actually does a pretty good job when they announce things to let people know about these new tools. This is really important, I think, as far as the chat and trying to come into more parity with Twitch streaming, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is this kind of trying to give them more of a competitive edge?
Yeah, it's definitely a really good competitive edge because it's a lot of the times where you see a lot of people streaming on Twitch, but then you'll see a lot of people streaming on YouTube gaming or just YouTube Live. And the Super Chats is something that's really cool because if you're a real big fan and you want to show support, this is your opportunity to post your your favorite opinion or thing onto the actual live stream for a period of time, up to 5 hours, which is cool.
Do you think that users would jump into something like that? I'd almost feel like it's the whole like pay to play sort of thing, where does that money go? You know what I mean?
It's I mean, it's another thing because I think it'll positively add to the community really well. If you're supporting your channel and you're supporting the creator first and foremost, because you're showing your support, and that's another way you can show support for the creator, which is cool.
Yeah.
And you're showing love, and you can have moderation and other things like that too. And it's just it does bring another edge to YouTube.
Yeah, I think that for me the bigger part of the story is probably the 4K stuff, only because I think that the fidelity is always what pushes the medium forward.
Yeah.
When people were first doing live streaming, they were always thinking about, well, what exactly am I streaming? But now because you can stream in 1080p, well, hell, now you can do it in 4K. 4K video, I mean, that's something that not even a lot of televisions that are, I mean, there are consumer grade TVs and obviously computer monitors that'll do a 4K resolution, but that's more of like a bleeding edge type thing. I think it's more approachable though than even 360 video. 360 video to me has always been really fun. Like when it was first coming out and people were starting to do stuff with it, it was like, whoa, awesome! And you're that person in the living room, walking around with your phone like this, and then people are like, strap this piece of cardboard to your face, to get the use out of it. I think my favorite use of the 360 video was when they had when Cuba was first opening back up, and they literally just did a 360 video of you were in the back of a drop top Cadillac or whatever, and they were just driving around the streets, and it was streets that not a lot of people had seen for a while because the country was closed off. So it's great, I think, as a tourist app as well. There's a lot of people trying to balance between, is a 360 video the direction they want to go in for content, or VR? Yeah. And I think when you see 360 degree being used for live streaming purposes, I think those are the kind of things that make people say, well, we got to be able to find a use for this,
Yeah.
right? Can you imagine like a live streamed 360-degree video from Comic-Con's floor or from a convention or from any other type of event? Maybe do something outside too. Let's go to the Grand Canyon or something. Yeah,
because you can use it. It's like so many things you can use it for, like a concert. I've seen people use it for live concerts, 360-degree video. I've seen it in racing, actually 24 hours, like Le Mans racing. They would have like a live stream of a 360-degree video that's on top of a car. So you can actually see different viewpoints on top of the car.
See, that sounds that sounds amazing. I don't know if I've talked about it on our show yet, but drone racing is something that I follow a lot. You can go ahead. Yeah, get that water. It's something where I think when you make things really immersive, when you allow people to have that choice, how they want to view something, that's something that they can engage with. So I'm looking forward to it. I think as far as the Super Chat feature, it's fitting in line with these social features that I think YouTube wants to use more of.
Yeah.
So I think that it's good, There was also another story that Lisa on our Ben Pixels team brought up, which is the YouTube Go app launches, which allows you to save videos for offline viewing. Obviously, this really helps people out that are on the go, myself included, where you're going to download podcasts and other content before you get on the road. Do not watch video while you're driving. I'm just saying, storing it for later, right?
Yeah,
but it's funny because this is a feature that through YouTube Red, that they have been allowing you to do, I know, on the YouTube app.
Okay.
So that is kind of a feature. I think it's interesting that they're kind of breaking it out into a separate thing. Yeah. They also have some other features and functionality in there. You can go to Tube Filter for that story if you want to read more about the YouTube Go app. But let's move on to our second story. This is one that you found for us, correct, Kev?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the NBA up to?
So apparently, Kotaku reported that the NBA is looking into making a esports league based around their NBA 2K series. Well, Take-Two specifically.
Yeah.
So they're basically making a esports series based off of pretty much real people making custom characters. They're gonna have real drafts. They're gonna have real teams around the U.S. playing NBA 2K. Yeah, which is gonna be really cool.
What was it? Wasn't there a quote from the story where it's like, I can't wait to watch like the Knicks, play against. It's like we got the real thing, but there is a certain amount of strategy, I guess, involved in the simulation part of it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I guess it wouldn't make sense brand wise for the NBA to be like, hey, we're all into Overwatch, man. Like, NBA Overwatch League, let's do this, Like LeBron James has got a mean tracer. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
I think, while I think that would have been more interesting, it makes sense. Also, what a boon for 2K to be the publisher that gets to be at the forefront of this, right?
Because it's always just like, I have friends who, anytime they settle arguments playing 2K.
Right.
Or Street Fighter, but mostly 2K. They're like, first to 21 points.
Oh, really?
Instead of playing real basketball, you guys will...
First to 21 points? So they're like practically playing like a game of horse or something? Yeah. But it's like, let's do some, the real court. They get out their controllers. According to Kotaku, the league will have a regular season, a playoff bracket, finals matchup, teams of 5 players, each with their own custom NBA 2K characters, will compete in a 5-month season that starts in 2018, operating just like the NBA. I like the idea of custom characters. Yeah. I want to have artificial Twitter feeds for these players. Yeah. I want them to tweet in character. I want them to have virtual beefs. Part of the fun of following professional sports are the personalities involved, right?
What are their backstories? What are they endorsing? Is it going to be balanced? Is everyone going to be level 99, can dunk from half court?
Are we going to have a draft thing where it's not about drafting players but drafting points or something? Yeah. Are you going to lottery attributes? It'll kind of be interesting to see how it plays out because fantasy leagues for baseball, football, obviously super popular. Video games super popular. I think there's a way to almost really fold these worlds together. I'm already jumping to fake social media accounts, but I think that the more people realize that playing games and living in this is more of a philosophical thing, like playing games and living out like these fantasies of being like a pro player, no matter if you do it physically or you do it with your thumbs. There's always going to be that appeal, and I think the more that you make that approachable for people, it might catch on. You got a big organization like the NBA, like it fully endorsing like an esports type situation. I think it could do a lot to just continue to raise the profile of the sport. It's like, oh, it's not just people that play Dota or Counter-Strike or first person. Now we're doing sports games. We're doing real sports games, you know? I really would love to see, Rocket League take off in that same way. If NASCAR could get a Rocket League thing going. Like, let's talk about in the comments, like what other professional sports organizations do you think could benefit from having like an electronic arm, so to speak? Yeah, could be interesting. Great story. So our third and final story this week is from TechCrunch, and this is Twitch launches communities. Twitch rolled out a new section of their site called Communities, designed to cater to users' unique interests. The section will feature hundreds of categories with dedicated sections related to comedy, food, music, cosplay, and, of course, gaming. Users are allowed to start their own communities, which are added to the directory listing. User communities can be personalized, each with their own rule set, what kind of channels get in there or not, customizable banner, artwork, avatar, and they can have their own moderation tools. This, I think, is a real game changer, I know I've talked a lot about most of my Twitch experience has been watching AGDQ. Do you follow some streamers regularly?
Yeah, one of them's a guy who's really prominent in the fighting game community, Maximilian Dude. He does a lot of stuff.
I know his YouTube channel. Yeah, Maximilian Dude on YouTube. Yeah.
Yep, same guy. Yeah, I follow his a lot. Because he's always trying to beat a boss, or he'll play a random like Final Fantasy. That's really cool.
I love it when he does the news announcements about like Street Fighter 4 character reveals, and he's just like, he always has this very authoritarian tone where he's like, okay, the biggest news today, and like he just sounds like, I've been studying Street Fighter in academia, and now I'm going to bless you with my knowledge. Like he's very charismatic. Yeah. I think that breaking these communities out in specificity is really what's going to be cool to see. Mm-hmm. Like YouTube's discoverability is built on essentially suggested and related video, I'd argue, right? Yeah. Like you hear about a video from Facebook or from Twitter, right? And then you watch that video, okay, then you visit the channel. And then unless they have people that they're featuring, or you want to see like what the suggested or related results are, you're sort of like just catching videos by topic. You're looking at a specific game, like like jury exploits in Street Fighter 5 or something, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, there's Maximilian Dude, there's these other gaming personalities. The way that they are breaking this out for Twitch seems to really encourage like a lot of specificity in terms of like what kind of community, because there's a difference between people that might be more hardcore casual gamers, or like the different Minecraft streams where it's all just one particular type of Minecraft, where they're doing like the adventure game mode. Well, then over here, they're just committed to building really cool stuff, right? So you can kind of get more specific with that. Do you think that this helps Twitch out in like ways that they, like, was the discovery stuff not as high on Twitch as it was in other platforms, or why do you think they introduced this beyond just like user control?
I think just when they didn't really have this community section before, a lot of the times people will search just via game, and then you really weren't searching for the creator, you're more so searching someone who's playing that game.
Okay.
I think this time you can actually, it really helps so you can follow the creators you might like, or you might find a creator that you didn't like before because of this community. Because it might be something, let's say you're looking for like food, like Wingstop or something, and there's a Twitch streamer who plays a game that you like who happens to like that too. You would have never known that if it wasn't for the community.
I think it also is important for Twitch as a platform to continue to kind of grow, because they mention in there like cosplay and food and these other things that they want to make sure that they show people like, hey, it's not just gaming. Gaming was their core feature, but now Twitch is becoming just such a main hub for streaming in general. It's sort of like if we highlight that we have more of these channels, maybe it'll bolster their views and their engagement, right?
Yeah.
So, Let us know what you think in the comments, obviously, about these Twitch communities. I think all three of these stories, kind of what they have in common is like every single week it seems like there's been more announcements about how people are trying to expose all these different feature sets on their platforms. You know, like you don't hear about them, doubling down or addressing problems. It's more about let's expand the opportunities. Yeah. So, if you really want to get involved though with the gaming community right now, you can check out Ben Pixel's own Vulture community for gaming. Yeah. We've got some really hot up and comers that are on that community. And I think that for next week, as a little bit of a teaser, I think we want to really highlight some of our own community members, right? Yeah. So definitely like this page, share this video around, give us some comments below. We're always reading them and replying. And let us know what you think about the stories that we covered. And stay tuned, because we're going to be talking more about some of the people that are within our community in addition to the news. Yeah. So you can find me at CraveSam on Twitter. Kevin, where can they find you?
You can find me at KTFWright on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that's been the weekly upload. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week. And now I do my dance out of frame when it's archived on YouTube. I'm gonna cut this out. Da 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 da.